Marriage questions you secretly ask and what they mean, part 2. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Why your partner disrespects you and how you have the power to influence a different lifestyle, a different adventure for your marriage. Will this work for me? Stop sending miles of text messages. Your wife withholding sex from you. Truth, integrity, moving fast, and sound decisions. Marriage questions you secretly ask and what they mean, part 2. Welcome to the Morrow Marriage podcast, guys. And by the way, this is no secret. If Kathryn taps the couch, it's because we need to rendezvous. Just kidding. It means that she's got to get going to pick up the kids. So we just know that this could run. We want to give you as much information as possible.
Or does it mean rendezvous? Let's test it. Testing.
Gotta
1,
go.
2, 3.
Do you have a video or podcast on how alcohol abuse has devastating effects on marriage? Yes. It's in our courses. It's in our content on social media. It's in this podcast. It's literally everywhere. Listen, if you know our story, we used alcohol a lot, drank a lot. In fact, recently I gave it up. I don't even know what day I'm on now. I think maybe 40, mind you, maybe 46. I can't remember. But there was about 3 or 4 days where we were moving and I did have some drinks. Yeah, but
it doesn't mean that he can't have some drinks, guys.
Oh yeah, I didn't go sober.
With respect to this question, how alcohol abuse has devastating effects on a marriage.
Now, this question, I want to get really, really clear here. What it really means is simple. If you can't handle your emotions, don't fucking drink. We believe, well, I think you agree with me on this. I believe it added 2 to 3 years into our marriage problems. Mm-hmm. Because, the moment I drank, I didn't have a drink. I drank many drinks. And every time I had a drink, the text message would be a little longer. We talked
about the miles of text messages?
Yeah, or the argument. Yeah, you guys, a lot of you have seen the recorded fight that Kathryn secretly recorded. A lot of you relate to that stuff. That was like, I would say about 35% of my worst behavior. That's how bad, but it was like, it's a lot more of you relate to that. If you notice, I'm leaving, I'm coming and going. That's because I'm leaving with my drink and cigarettes and coming back. And yes, it's devastating for your marriage. That is the number one thing that you need to understand. 2, most of you can't afford to drink. How do I know that? Because most of you can't afford tires, wheels, and brakes in one go. Let's get real. You don't have $4,000 or $5,000 hanging around. I want to be really clear. Why are you wasting money on booze? Money causing problems. You don't have money problems. You have marriage problems. You're coping. There's another one. So there's so many episodes. I don't want to go into it. The answer to your question is it's in the content. It's in the podcast, and it sure as shit is in our courses and on our coaching calls. Okay? Honestly. Anything else you want to add?
Just the difference between alcohol abuse and alcohol use.
Oh, sure.
So you guys have to determine what your core values are and what your health goals are, and then you determine how that fits or doesn't fit into your life. And alcohol abuse, so it used to be called alcoholism. You're an alcoholic. Now it's called alcohol use disorder. So you need to figure out what that looks like for you, and you need to make a decision, and it has to be personal. If you can connect on it, great, but try not to come into it with judgment. So I'm trained in the Gottman method, and the Gottman method believes that to get through substance abuse or alcohol abuse, you should be connected. It actually expedites the results of your partner if you can be on board with your partner and support them in whatever it is that they need to do. Not judge them, criticize them, and call them. You can call them up, maybe not call them out.
Okay, guys. Somebody from Brooksville, Florida says they're new to the podcast, and thanks for time for saying it like it is, guys. We don't have secret meetings. We say it like it is because you don't have time. Most of you have zero time.
Secret meetings.
You need to get going.
We have secret meetings, all right. Oh. Tapping the couch. Tapping the couch.
All right, next thing. I don't really see the actual question. It's a really long thing. Guys, if you want us to help you, see, we're not your therapist. And so if I have to scroll and scroll and scroll, then I don't have time. There's too many of you. I mean, we couldn't even get through all the questions in the last 2 weeks that we got questions, So I just want you to be aware.
Oh gosh, that's really long.
Yeah, and so I just want you to understand that we can't help you if all you want to do is, what do long messages secretly mean? It means that you'd rather stay stuck in your past than move towards your future. There's zero need to talk to us, your therapist, your friends, your mom, your partner,
You're going to waste your money. All you're going to do is talk about the details of everything that happened.
That's
and you're going to pay someone hundreds or thousands of dollars an hour to listen to your shit that you've already been through.
Most likely because you want validation, you need some level of agreement, and all you really care about is just say it. I want to be stuck in the past. Because that's not how we do things at Morrow. I know that all over the world, like counseling sessions or pastors, I know they want to hear you and validation, understand all that shit. We believe in growth, moving forward, rapid change, and we will never be able to sit there. This is actually short compared to some of the DMs you send. What would make you think we have the time for that? Start there in your marriage. What does it secretly mean? You're entitled.
Selfish.
Who could be that selfish to send a stranger a novel or 4 about your marriage when you do you think you're the only listener? I mean,
they do.
Right now we're getting to like 30,000 downloads a week. We are fucking the fastest growing marriage podcast in the world. And I want to just take this to turn it into an opportunity to learn. Anytime you text, talk, or who you're talking to, I don't care if you're drawing it in a fucking painting. If you are literally so focused on the past, you are never going to move forward. And if you're selfish, start there in your marriage. Okay?
Yes.
Excuse me. I'm just going to go to, thanks baby. I'm just going to go right, ones that are right with questions. How do I deal with the husbands who's the meth addict? Well, that's tough. But was he a meth addict when you started? Because I believe a meth addict can change. In fact, one of my greatest mentors helped so many people through addiction. Actually, I'll say it, reflection. This man was raised by armed robbers. Yeah. Okay. He only knew how to steal, and he learned to sell drugs from 8 years old, addicted to, I don't know if it was meth from that young. I think it was meth. I think it was. This man has been clean. This man has saved his marriage, he got his wife on meth, by the way. And now he's got his family in order. He's learning to make more and more money. He mentors men. He's such a bright man. He's created his own business. Like, honestly, how do you deal with a husband who's a meth addict? The real question is not how do you deal, it's how do you love them so that they can break their curse. They can let go of these demons. It's the same as my narcissism. It's the same as your anxiety, your depression, your anything that you think is a problem. It's actually a gift if you understand it.
So meth addiction is not a gift.
But the coming out of it is.
Absolutely.
And when you're free from that addiction, you have no idea how much, speaking of giving, instead of being selfish, how much you can lead others, which is paramount to the work we do. Everybody else that's talking about identity and leading, they're years behind. And so what does that really mean, that question? That question means, why are you fucking blaming them? I know they have their own shit to deal with, but do you know that they're probably they have no idea what love is?
And can I shift you? So it says here, how do I deal with a husband who is a meth addict? How about this? How do I deal with my husband who has a meth addiction? Your husband is not a meth addict. My husband is not a narcissist. I love my husband. I don't love the narcissist. This is something that he has, not something he is, and you're confusing his identity, and that's what you're living. Oh, he is this. And you know what? I get that we all use that language sometimes. I will say my husband is a narcissist. But if I actually were to break down the language, I don't think of him as a narcissist. I actually compartmentalize it. I love Cass. The narcissist can go fuck himself. I don't like that. But I love my husband. And so with your husband who has a meth addiction, you have to, he already said it. I just want to make sure I wrap it up in a nice little package for you to understand. Love your husband. Support your husband. Do not enable your husband, because enabling it is not love.
I see, and you have to be dangerously careful with your boundaries and shit like that now too, because you've already allowed or enabled bad behavior. And
don't own it. Okay? It's not yours. Compartmentalize it. The addiction is different than the man, and the addiction is different than your marriage. 100%. It is all separate. There's connections there, but you can break the connections.
All right, there's 2 questions. One is, how do I get more information about the groups? And one is, how do I get my husband, I'm going to say spouse, to do a program? She asked specifically, how did Kathryn get UCAS to do a program? Listen, there's so many different levels to these questions. One, we have a million ways to help you. More information, guys, morrowmarriage.com, apply. Start there. There's a video for men to watch. Women, we're getting one created. We just never had to create one before, because women inherently do more self-help than men.
And there is a video, it's just different.
It's just different. Women want help, like this woman asking the question, okay? But essentially, it wasn't that Kathryn got me to do a program. It's that Kathryn and I were going through so many ups and downs, and so many things happened in our life where this is what happened. I learned that I'm drawing a line if you're not watching on YouTube. I'm at the bottom of a hole, and I became baseline normal. And when I found out that that wasn't good enough for Kathryn, I immediately got angry, I immediately lost my shit, and then I immediately had to get to work. Meanwhile, Kathryn got to work. So the real answer to your question is this. The work that I was doing, it's not what I teach today, you guys. I had to learn in a roundabout way what I teach now, and mostly it was from suffering and pain in my own marriage and perfecting with thousands of men. Kathryn, on the flip side, when you ask how did she get me to do a program, whether you're a man or woman, this is it, okay? Kathryn started to show up with what she was learning. Not only that, I mean full-on implementation. In fact, the other night, you were really praising yourself, really proud of yourself is a better way to put it, for the work that she did years ago that was to drop things like defensiveness. Is she perfect? No. I mean, I think so, but she said she wasn't that night. And, you know, basically during that conversation, she's saying, you know, but she's damn proud. That person who's damn proud was so influential that if you don't know our story properly, she catapulted and supercharged my growth. Right there. Okay? I was reading a few books, listening to podcasts, did nothing. Started taking courses, did nothing. I actually had to dive in, and because the stuff that we learn isn't real. Communication is key. Go use your boundaries, all that shit.
No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. The stuff that I created, Kathryn would say I'm innovative, I'm a visionary, and I actually believe God downloaded a bunch of shit to me
between dad and God.
Yeah, that's right. I was downloaded with a bunch of information. I was able to apply things. I did learn. I did read. I did listen to all that stuff. But you want to know why? I didn't want to lose the woman who started kicking ass. That's it. So all of you who don't have a spouse on board, how do you get them to a program? It's not BS like your comment says. You must learn. Like we have this program on the app right now. Inspiration 101 comes from our Morrow Marriage method. Inspire, lead, ask them to join you, motivate with a boundary. Mm-hmm. You can't just pick and choose what you do. It's actually an order. I'm running this free program on the app where you learn to inspire. That's while you're learning and implementing.
Pause. Did you say, speaking of defensiveness, I just got defensive. Did you say someone's comment called it BS?
That same question. Her husband thinks that a course would be BS.
Oh, how do you get him to do it?
What does that secretly mean?
That's back to the inspire, lead, ask, motivate. Inspire is the very first stage. And I know he just said it, but go to go.morrowmarriage.com on the app, Inspiration 101. That is the first stage in getting your husband to be influenced.
Or wife.
Or wife, in this case, her husband. Make sure that you are making the changes that you need to make, even if you don't think you have to make any. I was so naive back then, and I thought it was all his fault. And it might have mostly been his fault because his things were bigger than mine. But then, do you know what? When I changed my little things, what changed? Our whole fucking marriage and your entire world. So whose fault was it? Looks like it was mine. So you have to look at it that way and go fix your shit.
If you haven't heard her say this on the podcast in the middle of an actual topic, it's fucking powerful, right? People literally send me messages all the time saying, holy shit. In fact, I had a guy on the call the other day.
Is this the 10% of the problem thing?
The 10% of the problem thing. She says her 10% was 10 compared to my 100, 90. My 90 actually, but my 100, my massive issues and problems, my brain, the way everything, okay? But taking control of her 100%.
Of my 10%.
Of her 10% and doing a fucking good job of it is what was the catalyst that supercharged my growth and why you listen to me today on social media and why you found this podcast.
So my 10% of the problem was 100% of our solution.
So that's what she said.
So even if you think it's not your fault, that's how powerful taking responsibility is.
Yes. Okay. How do I stop the same arguments that never get resolved?
Oh.
Okay, listen.
Can I answer this one?
Oh, yeah, go ahead, baby.
Okay, so this is like the backbone of the White Picket Fence Project, which is the coaching program for women, and I teach it to the men as well. I don't have time to give you the whole thing, but basically, you need to come into alignment with your spouse. So if you're having the same arguments over and over and over, it means that there's a core value discrepancy or there's a major disconnect. So first, you need to learn how to connect on things that are not going to cause a lot of conflict. That's what's going to build the foundation for being able to communicate, being able to have conversations, because, he talks about more conversations, less communication. We know it's the same thing, but communication, we mean like deep things. If you can't talk about baseline normal things, which we also say a lot, don't think for 1 second you're going to be able to talk about parenting differences, sex differences, religious topics, political things, things between the two of you, in-laws, all those things.
Some of you don't even know each other's favorite color anymore.
If you can't talk about your favorite color or your favorite food without it causing World War III,
trends changing.
You should be able to talk about all these things. So in order to stop fighting about the things that you always fight about, that means that you need to have a bigger, broader, deeper foundation on, I'm going to say it, stupid shit. Talk about your favorite kind of taco and your favorite color is pink, and because it'll get deeper as you talk, and as you get deeper you build more connection, and when you build more connection you can start talking about some of the things that bother you, because when you feel that you're on the same team, not everything causes a fight, because these things that are causing a problem every time you talk about it, if you were to like scale it back a little bit, everything's causing a problem. It's not these things that you fight over and over again. Go more shallow. The more shallow you go, you're still fighting about that, aren't you?
I say you're lower on the ladder.
You're still fighting about the toothpaste and the socks on the floor and the towels not being washed right. Okay, those are stupid shit. Stupid things, right?
Who is supposed to pick up the kids? Who, like, you guys, you start to turn everything and make it massive. Massive.
So you might fight about your in-laws all the time. That might be a big deal. But that's, if you look deeper, you're fighting about everything.
And you're actually so disconnected that your in-laws are a fucking question. Yeah. It's not because their parents were so important and they've been my best friend for so long. No. You're not connected.
Exactly.
You think that they don't want to be with you. They fucking married you. They know what's like to marry their parents. They didn't do it. They know what it'd be like to fuck them. They don't want to. Okay?
Oh,
like, I know, I'm being that crude for a reason.
Yeah.
You're making up your own reality instead of realizing you're part of the problem.
And we have a proprietary strategy that we use to get you through what is called a perpetual problems that keep surfacing. We believe that you can actually solve it.
Now, I want to bring two questions together and we'll be able to wrap this up here, okay? So, how do I get him to soften up, stop yelling, stop treating us less valuable than his coworkers? How do we become a priority in his life again? Ooh. Next question. Hello, what if your partner is completely content with not wanting to be a partner? He works a very cush job at home, lays in bed, never walks. I'm not going to open up the rest. You get the idea. These are both the same answer.
Can you click it? I want to see. Never walks what? Never walks the dog? Never.
Go ahead, take a look for me. But
never walks the dog.
I want you to just think about it like this. Number one, when you guys focus, remember I described that hole, okay? If you're trying to climb out of a hole, things like not yelling, baseline normal, what we always talk about, you're never going to move or propel from the past to exciting if you go to normal. Normal is neutral. Neutral is negative. Negative will never outrun or outweigh all the bullshit. So you want him to stop yelling, show him what life would look like. And that's why this ties into the next one that we read here, is because when you understand you're either fucking awesome, exciting, incredible, I'll use the person who's yelling and then we'll use the person who's laying on the couch after he does his cush job, okay? In either case, neither of them want to participate in life. Why? Yelling? He's got something else to say. It's so much more important. His needs, his defensiveness, the fact that you fucking nagged him, whatever it is, it's more important than actually having fun, okay? Mr. I worked all hard, my life is good, I don't really want to be a partner, I deserve to lay on the couch. Okay? Life must suck that he'd rather just watch a show. Okay? Both of you, this is why we talk about inspire, lead, ask, motivate with a boundary. So both of you would need to understand what it means to lead your partner. Meaning, what are you doing if he's yelling? How do you handle yourself in a conversation, right? When's the last time you yelled? I'm betting that you don't just shut down. I'm betting. Hands down, you've yelled. I don't know you, but I'm pretty sure you've yelled before, okay? Now, who is that person? The next thing is, what are you doing outside of those conflicts, right? Does he get welcomed when he comes out of the office and you're super excited to have like a night planned? Because it might take a little extra effort for a while, because remember, we're moving from the past and climbing not out of the hole, but leaping to the sky. If you want the superpower new marriage, then you got to start showcasing what life would look like. He wants to be depressed sitting on the couch. What are you doing? Are you sitting there pouting? Or are you fucking getting jacked, like ripped, feeling good about yourself, having awesome play dates with the kids, starting some new businesses, new hobbies, whatever? Who is the person, right? If you don't know who you are and you're not exciting, then yeah, they're just going to defend themselves and go, yeah, well, you suck. I don't care what you have to say. That's the yeller. Or I'm just going to hide. That's the guy who shuts down, sits on the couch. It doesn't matter how you look at it. You must all start looking at who you are. And don't be in a rush. Don't be in a rush. You don't just figure out who I am. Shit, man, I'm running that program Inspiration on the app right now. It's this free program starting with the inspiration phase. People don't know how to lead. That was common. So okay, let's just start here. People can't even answer simple. It took a fucking 24 hours for people to answer things that make them happy. It's taking days now. We're at a stage where I'm like, what's non-negotiable? Pick 5. These are non-negotiable. They make you happy. Only a handful of people put their hand up. You guys, that's how serious this is. And you want your partner to stop yelling and say, you think you're awesome? You don't even know who you are. You want your partner to look up from their phone? You don't even know who you are. It's the same thing I said earlier. You're holding your partner to a way higher standard than you hold yourself. I think far too many people need to understand that's the first step. All right, guys. Kathryn hasn't tapped the couch, but I know she has to go get kids. Guys, we'll see you next time.
Bye.